just want to ask a question that probably can't be answered, but I think I just really want to make sure that this question gets asked tonight. And it's about the outcomes of the policies of emissions trading and carbon tax from a sociological point of view, right? Now, if we accept everything that you've said tonight, there's kind of two ways you can look at it. You can look at it as that there's a giant mistake that's being made that's a result of like greed, incompetence, and just human factors, right? That basically would resolve themselves eventually if we allow it to, because they're just all the simple mistakes of human nature and egotism and things like that, right? There's another possibility that the outcomes of what is being engineered here, because it's based on a pseudoscience which is in some respects anti-human, because the carbon itself is being demonized. In a sense, humanity is being told it's the problem. That in some ways it could be like the eugenics pseudoscience of the early 20th century, which actually led to mass exterminations. And those two possibilities are so extremely divergent that I'd just like to know what you think about that, because there's a lot of people who are really concerned about this.
Well, I think you've put your finger on a very important point, and I'll rephrase what you said in terms of a simpler question, which is there any historical precedent for an occasion like this? And you've already given one, it is eugenics. The occasion like this being when the scientific, or a group within the scientific community was strong in advice to governments which for political reasons then were committed to something which was quite clearly in that case inhuman, shall we say. In this case it mightn't be inhuman, though it is inhuman because it will result in tens of millions of deaths in third world countries. In that sense it's inhuman. But at the level in Australia, all it's going to do is cause you to whinge a bit about paying more for energy, which is what's going to happen. But the impact on third world countries that we are currently denying the right to develop coal-fired power stations is much more immediate than that. It is death for many people. So yes, eugenics is one of the historical examples. It's not the one I know a great deal about, but the one I like to use I know a little bit more about, and it's called Lysenkoism. And it was in the Soviet Union between the late 1920s and the 1950s. Stalin's chief scientific advisor was a chap called Troakim Lysenko, who was a botanist. And it was the fashion in Russia at the time to disbelieve Western imperialist science, and especially Darwinian evolution, which was the classic example of Western imperialist science. And instead, Lysenko believed in the evolution of acquired characteristics. Some of you will know that's called Lamarckian evolution. Like the Greens in 1988, it's a good question to ask, Lamarckian evolution, back in 1820 when it was first asked. But there's now 200 years of science which shows quite clearly that in general it doesn't apply. The argument is that giraffes have longer necks because they have to stretch to get the twigs up there during their life, and they then pass on that elongated neck, which is an environmental and life effect. They pass it on to their offspring. Well, there's no evidence for that in broad terms at all. But that was then the assumption.